day with me instead of diving?
I'll be back early.
Well, please drink this before you dive. I laced it with a mega dose of vitamin C to help you beat whatever bug you've got.
Thanks.
Incidentally, since you prefer the company of fish to me, I plan on going ashore this morning and spending a fortune shopping.
I want you to have a good time. Go.
Launch is ready whenever you are, Mrs. Dunbar.
Sooner the better, Captain.
See how quickly you can spray the entire body? $1 for instant sun protection. And the beauty of this is, you get to keep 35 cents out of each and every customer dollar.
What the hell's Mack up to now?
Latest get-rich scheme.
No. This one can't miss. Every tourist who comes to Hawaii gets French fried their first day, right? It ruins their whole vacation,
Yeah,
right?
it happens, Mack, but I mean, this...
Look, come on, Shank, give it a shot, huh? This is your chance to get that recreation vehicle you've always wanted. Or that boat that's going to be pulled on...
Mack, what's going on here?
Dave, come on in here. Look, you need some sun protection. Get up right here.
What's going on here?
Shank?
Oh, no, Mack.
How about yourself?
What are you doing with this sex doll? No, Dave, this is not what it looks like.
Just when I think I got you straightened out. Take it down, now.
All right.
Down.
Very good, very good. Okay, here we are.
What I'm going to do with you?
Dave, this is my day off. Look, I've got a business to run, but I'd like... Not the rookies.
The rookies.
No, I can't do the rookies.
Yes.
Dave, come on.
Pick them up at the academy, hustle them over to the ME.
And what are they going to do over there, pray tell?
This is an idea Dr. Holliday brought to us from Los Angeles. Every cadet has to witness an autopsy.
Rookies at the morgue, Dave? You mean you think that's a good idea?
Well, I think it's only fair we give her ideas a chance, don't you?
Welcome to the exciting world of forensic medicine. Now, I can see that some of you are a little less than thrilled to be here, and that's natural. For some of you, witnessing this autopsy will be just another part of your police training. But for some of you, it'll be an exciting entry into homicide detection. Now, you may want to put a little spirit of camphor on your upper lip. It'll help absorb any olfactory sensations you're not used to.
What she means is that you're going to encounter some pretty funky smells. You all have never been around a 4-day-old body. It swells up.
Mac! Now, I know you think I'm going to tell you to leave, but I'm not. Because I could really use your help.
It'll be my pleasure to help out in this wonderful indoctrination process. I'll be very generous with the application of this lip glue. You're going to thank me, especially when she rips off the cranial cap and stuff starts flying all over the walls.
Hello? Mac, out.
Hello.
Hello? Gentlemen, you'll have to come back for your indoctrination, or it'll go on your record. I'm sorry.
Thank you, love. Wolf here. Got it.
Mac, I said you could go.
Yeah, I know, but I thought you might want to come with me. See, there's nothing like a botched celebrity death to bring down a shaky ME.
I've been on the job 1 week. My whole regime's falling apart.
So don't take my advice. Charles Dinehart just died in the Crescent Swamp.
Pupils are fixed and dilated. Carotid pulses are absent. Early rigor mortis is present in the jaw muscles and the small muscles of the hands. But the exact cause of death will be investigated further at autopsy. Okay, Nui, we're done here.
What do you think?
Well, there are no signs of any external trauma, and the froth at the mouth and the nostrils does suggest death by drowning.
Oh, God, no! Charlie!
That would be,
Mrs. Dinehart.
I told you not to die today.
Mrs. Steinhardt, I'm Dr. Holliday. I'm the medical examiner. Why didn't you want him to scuba dive today?
He wasn't feeling well. We thought it was some kind of flu. Why did this happen?
We don't know. We won't know for a few days.
I need to go home. I need to be close to my family. I don't want to stay here any longer than I have to.
I understand.
Mrs. Dinehart.
You'll take care of him, won't you?
Of course.
Mrs. Dinehart, I'm Lieutenant Wolfe. Are you going to be somewhere where we can reach you if I have any questions?
Dr. Holliday, someone's here to see you. It'll have to wait, Nui. I'm about to perform the Dinehart post.
There isn't going to be any autopsy, Doctor, at least not on this island. I'm Montgomery Dinehart, Charles Dinehart's son. I want my father's body shipped to Los Angeles, and I want it done now.
Oh, I'm afraid I can't do that.
I'm Jerome Weisberg. I'm Mr. Dinehart's attorney, and I'm already in contact with the state attorney general. And he assures me that
Mr. Weisberg, by law, I have to perform an autopsy on any unexplained death within my jurisdiction, which extends from the Hawaiian Islands all the way to American Samoa.
The salient point here, Doctor, is not jurisdiction, it's competence. Now, millions of dollars are going to be at stake, and we cannot afford any possibility of my father's new wife getting away with murder.
Well, are you saying...
What we are saying to you now is obviously not for the record.
Yes, it is, Jerry. I want real experts there to make sure she doesn't get away with it.
Monty, please, let me do my job. After all we are asking is that we be allowed to get the very best expert in here to determine the cause of his father's death.
That's a good idea. Call the coroner's office in Los Angeles. I'll be happy to share my findings with anyone they recommend you hire.
Time for your nap, Bertha.
I'm so enjoying this book. You must read it, Sarah. It's all about this person's visit to the other side.
I'll read it when you're done with it, Mrs. Campbell. Here's some nice milk for that nap. That's good. Oh, Dr. Barnes sent over this form to have your prescriptions refilled.
Well, why is that necessary? I must own the drugstore by now.
I'm sure it's because of all those druggies out there in the world, Mrs. Campbell.
We do live in the last days, Sarah. All the signs of the Bible point to it.
Yes, these are definitely the last days. Here, just sign right there. That's good. That's right. Fine. Now let's take that nap.
You must read it as soon as I've finished. Because I have promised it to Reverend Willis. He's such a dear man. And I know he'd enjoy the way it describes her journey to the other side.
You'll be happier on the other side, dear. It's all you ever talk about. I'll see that the Reverend gets the book, but it's all he's gonna get.
Come on now, Sarah. Come on. Pull yourself together. What's happened?
Well, I'm fine, Dr. Barnes, but I'm afraid dear Mrs. Campbell has left us.
Well, Sarah, we all knew that was going to happen one of these days.
But it's still such a terrible shock. I don't know what to do next.
Leave things just as they are. I'll be right over to sign the death certificate and handle things.
Thank you. I feel so terrible, like somehow I've failed her.
What more could you have done? sequences here at the station remind me of that bar scene in Star Wars.
Hey, Houdini. Not now. Not now. Come on.
Hey, yo, Matt.
Oh, there's my wake-up call. That's my sister. Please, Reverend. Sit down. Make yourself at home.
Thank you.
Now then, Reverend, you were saying you were having a problem with one of your parishioners?
Bertha Campbell.
Of the Pineapple family Campbells?
Yes, John Harold Campbell's great-granddaughter, in fact.
Now, what seems to be her problem?
Well, she's dead.
That would be a problem.
Yes, and suddenly I find that her will has been changed, canceling a rather large bequest that she made to the church.
Well, you know, Reverend, sometimes people change their minds, especially older people.
Not Bertha. For 20 years, she's been a benefactor of our building program. We were to name our new high school after her. Instead, all of her money apparently is going to go to her housekeeper, Sarah James.
And who was with Bertha at the time of her death?
Sarah James.
I see. Well, I really don't think we have anything to worry about. The medical examiner will have a look at the body, tell us if there's anything unusual about the death.
Good.
Yeah, Doc.
Mac, I'm on long distance waiting for the Dinehart toxicology results. What's so important?
Bertha Campbell. There may be something unusual about her death.
Who's Bertha Campbell?
Doc, are you telling me you don't have the body there? You're not doing a post on her?
Not that I know of. Why?
Maybe I better get back to you.
Mac! Wait a minute. It's my second week on the job. You're telling me I now have 2 problem deaths?
Hey, let's forget this call, shall we? I'll handle it myself.
Mac!
I assure you there is not a problem here. However, I was very curious about the fact that Bertha Campbell died yesterday, and you already know that the will had been changed.
Well, her lawyer phoned me to inform me that I wouldn't be handling the funeral arrangements that she and I had planned so meticulously. It just all seems so strangely wrong to me.
I still don't think we have a problem, Reverend. You see, nothing can be done to the body without a death certificate.
But there is a death certificate. Her doctor signed it yesterday.
Maybe we do have a problem.
You signed the certificate as death by natural causes, even though you weren't there at the time of death. You hadn't seen her in weeks.
Dr. Holliday, I was already treating Bertha Campbell when you were born. I think I know a natural death when I see one.
Yes, I'm sure you think you do.
Easy, Doc. Easy. I'm Lieutenant Wolfe.
Dr. Barnes.
Dr. Barnes, pleasure.
Who told you about the death?
Sarah James. Very dear woman. She called me regularly to report on Bertha's failing condition.
So she'd established a pattern of alarm over Bertha's health, would you say? It had almost become routine, huh?
No, only recently. I assure you, Sarah was terribly moved by Bertha's death. I even had to give her a sedative.
Let's forget about Sarah. Where do we find Bertha?
You'd be the housekeeper.
Shh. Please take a seat.
Well, I guess there wasn't much notice given to this place would be full, don't you think?
This is about the same number that came to see her on a regular basis. Now, please be quiet.
But there's no service going on. What are we doing?
We're waiting.
Miss James, there really can't be a service right now. We need to remove Bertha Campbell's body so that we can do an examination.
That's going to be difficult. She's being cremated as we speak.
Well, you know, with any luck, you'll find something in the ashes.
Strychnine, chloral, cyanide, barbiturates, none of it shows up after cremation. And as far as a lift inspection, well, I guess we can forget that. My second week on the job as ME, and somebody's pulled off the perfect murder.
Well, we'll just see about that.
Lifetime original movie.
Waikiki holiday. I deserve a chance to get away to a place where I can while away with someone pretty by me. Down by the sea on holiday, I am longing for a sunny day and a chance for me to be away.
The front door was open, so I let myself in. And I would have telephoned, but I figured you'd be in mourning.
I am, Lieutenant. Come in and join me. With Or without a search warrant.
You certainly know your law, don't you?
I know my old life is over and my new one is just beginning.
And you think you're going to get away with all this?
You wearing a wire, Lieutenant?
Just my sidearm.
Okay. Then I can tell you. There's not a thing in the world you can do except watch me spend the money.
I can stop you from enjoying it.
Bobby Bossman, what seems to be the problem here?
Mac, what's homicide doing here? This is just a case of groping.
Groping?
Seems one of your people selling suntan oil here got a little overzealous with their hands.
Simmons, I thought I warned you about him.
No.
Herb.
I don't know.
Charles Deinhardt's toxicology report is clean. There's no evidence of any acute ischemic changes in the myocardium. Death appears to be the result of heart failure and drowning.
We're bringing in Howard Brandon from Bellevue in New York.
He'll be here in a few hours. We feel he can find out what really happened to Charles Deinhardt.
Yes, I was expecting to hear from you or Dr. Holliday. When can I go home?
They're calling in some more forensic help.
Why is that?
Your stepson raised a fuss.
Yes, I can just imagine what he's saying. Listen, how would you like to hear my take on my husband's death?
Name the place.
Waikiki at 6.
I'll be there.
I'm giving you 3 numbers that are key to your investigation. Thank you. The first number is my personal bank account, establishing the fact that I didn't need to murder my husband for money, disposing of the cornerstone in any homicide investigation, motive. The second number is of Cartier's here in Honolulu, where I was shopping at the time my husband drowned. That eliminates opportunity.
And the third number?
My phone in Beverly Hills, where you can personally come for me with the cuffs if your investigation turns to fiction. Now then, are we free to let our hair down and get sloshed without compromising your sense of duty?
You wouldn't be trying to influence a homicide detective's investigation, now, would you?
Oh, absolutely not. But call me Drew.
You said something on the phone about giving me your take on your husband's death.
Well, don't be in such a hurry, Lieutenant. Good things come to men with patience.
I have been brought in by the family of Charles Deinhardt to provide expertise as to the cause of his untimely and tragic death.
For those of you unfamiliar with my credits, I was Dean of Forensic Sciences at Johns Hopkins University, Chief Coroner
He's actually holding a press conference in the
and a
OR.
past
Who is
president of
he?
the National Association.
Howard Braniff, Dean of Forensic Sleuths.
Does the family have any reason to believe that the medical examiner's findings could be inaccurate? And could Charles Deinhardt have been the victim of foul play?
I wouldn't be here if there were not concerns about Dr. Holliday's findings. I have been
All flesh, nothing in the sun.
417 homicide cases
My best professor at medical school, actually.
No.
and provide expertise.
Or maybe he'll try to make his old student look good in her new job.
While Dr. Holliday was one of my...
Howard Braniff will try to bury me.
She is, after all, newly arrived in her job here and unused to running an entire department.
That rotten SOB. He's supposed to be your friend?
I hasten to add she was well-trained and is certainly well-intended. Still, there is no substitute for experience.
Dr. Radcliffe, is there any animosity between you and Dr. Holliday?
Mrs. Deinhardt!
I told you, call me Drew! I mean, we're friends now, right?
I need some answers.
I'm gonna tell you who killed my husband.
I need some willpower.
Well, you coming?
I need to swim.
Stars in the tropics are always so much brighter than home.
You know, you don't sound like a woman ravaged by grief.
Mac, my stepson couldn't keep his hands off me, and my husband rarely touched me at all. I've been in the eye of the hurricane. I only wish you could be my Red Cross.
I understand it is a voluntary organization. I gotta know what we're seeing here about you and Monty Dinehart. Are you telling me that he's...
Monty killed his father.
Why?
Because he was about to be disinherited for trying to force himself on me.
And you told Charles that?
Charlie walked in on it.
What did he do?
Didn't actually do anything. Just never touched me again. I guess he wasn't nearly as brave as you are, Mac.
Brave?
I'm a Black Widow, remember? Everyone knows what they do to their mates after they've been together.
I'm sorry it's so early. I couldn't sleep.
It's okay, I couldn't either.
Can we talk?
Sure. Come on in, I'll make us some breakfast.
Doc, I don't want you to go through any trouble. I mean, I really haven't been that much help to you.
Mac, I didn't expect you to do my job for me.
This makes sense. Why do we do it, Doc? Spend our lives surrounded by mean-spirited, evil, wicked people?
To protect the people that are not mean-spirited and wicked.
But you're a doctor. I mean, you could be working in something uplifting like Children's Hospital or using your years of schooling to save lives.
I think I do save lives. Every time I help prevent a murderer from killing again, every time I put forensic medicine on the front page of a newspaper where it just might discourage even one person from thinking that they can get away with taking someone's life.
I spent some time with Drew Dinehart last night.
Really?
She's innocent.
So is that a measured conclusion of a seasoned homicide cop, or the words of a man who just got involved?
Monty did it. And it was a setup from the beginning, including his flying in an expert pathologist. Do you know who recommended the charter boat and the diving instructor for the old man?
No, tell me.
Monty.
Hey, what kind of tests have you run for any poisons that might have been in those diving tanks?
Mac, why would Monty want to kill his father?
Control of the Dinehart fortune will revert to Monty should Mrs. Dinehart, for any reason, be unable to oversee the holdings. That would include jail time or the gas chamber.
Okay, Mac. Her contaminated diving gas theory does intrigue me. I guess we could check that out easily enough.
That's the tank he was using. Hasn't been touched since then. See for yourself on that gauge. The tanks are half filled. Precisely the amount that would have been used up after a half-hour dive.
A half hour, you sure?
I was on deck timing the dive, so lunch would be ready when it was over.
So if someone did manage to put lethal gas in the tank, it would still be there.
Look, I filled these tanks personally from the boat's own compressor. Now, I can tell you there's nothing wrong with this air.
Really? Would you like to give it a try, Captain?
Well,
I'll give it a try.
Mac!
Seems fine to me. Hey, Doc.
Mac?
Oh.
Mac? Mac?
You do care, don't you?
Mac! Thanks, Captain.
Boy, that was touching. Did you see that? Thanks, Kramer. Now, Doc, I gotta tell you, I haven't felt so cared for in quite a long time. That was the most touching...
That was really foolish.
Not really. You see, the captain said...
Don't.
Well, very good. Captain said that they'd been down to half an hour. And I can't think of a poison gas that takes more than a minute to kill, huh?
Carbon monoxide, colorless, odorless, and when mixed with ordinary air, will kill you in an hour.
Well, now you tell me.
What is this, Howard? Last few minutes with the high priest before my execution?
I'm embarrassed to admit I was vain enough to think I could walk in and immediately find some missing piece to the puzzle. Overlooked. by the best student I ever had.
You didn't find anything.
And I fully expected that in this case the son knew what he was talking about.
I know, he was very convincing.
You'd be well within your rights to call a press conference of your own to tell the world you were right and I was behaving like the prima donna I've always been.
What's important is the truth. Do you really believe that his heart failure was natural?
I'm still troubled by the reported symptoms of weakness and nausea because I found nothing to support them. He appeared to be in perfect health.
I know. But I know there's something wrong, and I can't find it. And that's my job. It's making me crazy. I'd like to talk to you.
Why? You said my father wasn't murdered.
No, I said that I had not found any evidence of homicide. That's quite a different thing. Look, if you're holding something back from me on advice of your attorney...
We'll just see what Howard Braniff comes up with.
Howard Braniff just declared your father's death an accidental drowning. So if your stepmother is guilty, she'll get away with murder. Unless you have something to tell me.
Wait. Maybe we should talk.
Good.
First off, my stepmother claimed to have never been married. She lied.
Tell me how you know that.
Well, believe it or not, it started with an earthquake. My father and stepmother had gone off on a trip when L.A. had a major timber. Their housekeeper called me to take one of their dogs to the vet and help clean up the place. But while I was there, the post office called about some P.O. box that had been damaged in the quake. Well, the box turned out to belong to my stepmother. And it had mail in it that looked like checks from insurance companies addressed to women who I'd never heard of before. Well, when my stepmother called, I told her about the mail. She told me to mind my own business. Well, anyway, that night I had a date. I was in the jacuzzi when I saw a light go on in my father's den. By the time I had let myself in to look to see what was going on, someone had let themselves out the front door, were speeding away, sporting long blonde hair and a Ferrari. I went in the house to find that all she had taken were the letters from the insurance carriers. That's when Jerry insisted I hire a private detective. The detective was able to trace the two names through the insurance carriers. The first name was a Mrs. Ashley. She had married a plastics manufacturer from Delaware. He died at the ripe old age of 57, leaving Mrs. Ashley with $3 million. The second name was a Mrs. Robinson, whose husband lived in St. Paul. He died while flying his plane straight into a mountain under perfect weather conditions, leaving poor Mrs. Robinson with $7 million in the bank.
So you think these two women and your stepmother are the same person?
Absolutely.
Wait, I'm sure that the authorities in St. Paul and Delaware would be very interested in reopening those cases if they were made aware of the multiple deaths.
Well, they were made aware. Both Mr. Ashley and Mr. Robinson were cremated within days of their deaths. There was nothing left for the authorities to re-examine. She'll do the same with my father.
Driving around these curves this fast? It's gonna kill us both.
Good-looking guy risks his neck for me.
Yeah, it kind of does something for me, too. Nice view you have.
Take a look. It's very romantic.
Romantic, huh? I thought maybe the two of us could talk alone.
Talk. Well, we can do better than that.
If I didn't know any better, I'd swear that my life is in jeopardy. Kind of like what Bertha must have felt.
Oh, Mac, you didn't think I was gonna break and confess all, did you?
Actually, I thought you might want to dictate your memoirs.
Oh, I can think of better things to do.
I think I hear my mother calling.
Too bad you came with that wire, Mac. We could have got something going.
There was no poison gas.
Well, then he did it some other way.
Why didn't you tell me about the other husbands?
And now you're believing him too.
Were there other husbands?
Could have been good, Mac. You and me. I really could have loved you.
Drew!
Last time you heard from your cop?
A little while ago.
Yeah? How's their investigation coming?
Well, Monty's expert came up empty.
Howard Braniff is good. I'm better. Now you have to stay away from Mr. Wolfe.
Why? Because I like him?
Because I said so. Now I want you to pack a bag and come to my hotel with me.
You think he's coming here tonight, don't you?
You do tend to have that effect on men. It just worries me. He seems to be having that effect on you.
Well, what do we have here?
Each week.
Doc, you're not going to let them take that body, are you?
My last hope of finding something to explain Charles Deinhardt's flu symptoms was in the food and beverages we took off the boat. I even had them test some residue of orange juice that we found in the sink drain. We came up empty-handed. Nothing was toxic.
Don't.
I want to.
You better let me handle this.
My pleasure.
I just wanted to say goodbye and thank you for everything.
$50 million worth, huh? Who's that, your accountant?
Nice, Mac. She's my sister. She raised me after my mother's death. I was about 10 at the time.
She keeps a pretty tight rein, considering how long ago that was.
I don't know what I'd do without her.
I might have thought you two would be staying together under the circumstances.
She just flew in this morning to help with the arrangements. And I wanted to thank you for releasing the body so quickly. I'm anxious to put this all behind me.
Drew, we're pretty sure that your husband was murdered and that you had something to do with it.
I don't have to stand here and listen to false accusations, especially when there is absolutely no proof.
No proof doesn't erase the crime. Murder's murder. And you're going to have to live with this the rest of your life, you and your sister.
Yeah, and your sister didn't just fly in. She's been here, remaining strangely in the background for reasons only you could know.
Look, I just came here to say goodbye.
You know, we do have something in common. We both lost our mothers when we were little girls. They could never tell me why my mother died. Cause of death unascertainable. It's why I went into forensics instead of some comfortable specialty. It's why I never give up on a homicide. Even if I think it might take me the rest of my career to solve it.
You should come with me before you do something else stupid.
There's got to be something on this boat that can explain Deinhardt's nausea.
Look, we've been over it 10 times. There's nothing here.
Howard, what are you doing here?
This case.
I'm having conscience pangs leaving you with such a puzzle your first week on the job.
Thank you. Oh, this is...
Yeah, I caught his act on television. Problems with your mother, Howard, huh? He really beat you up in that press conference.
I apologize for that. Now I'm trying to make up for it. The fact that witnesses all agree that your Mr. Deinhardt repeatedly complained of abdominal pain and nausea continues to disturb me. Other than some non-specific degenerative changes, I found no gastric pathology that would suggest a cause for his symptoms.
Then it's once more over the boat. I mean, there has got to be some reason, something that would induce that nausea and that heart failure. I'll take the bedrooms, engine room, you take the galley.
We're wasting our time. I already went over the galley and the engine room with magnifying glass and tweezers.
My guess is that there was something in the body at the time of death that has broken down rapidly or vaporized from the samples that were taken.
Like what?
How about a localized buildup of some volatile solvent that could sensitize his heart to the stress of sudden exercise and cause it to fail?
They were outdoors. No amount of that could have reached Deinhardt when he was underwater. And we've already checked the gas in the diving tanks.
There doesn't seem to be much else.
Howard, look at this.
What is it?
Look at the hairs.
I noticed it during my examination, pattern baldness.
No. These aren't single strands. These are tufts, clumps. What was that obscure poison, Howard? Massive hair loss, nausea.
Followed by respiratory and cardiac failure. It was a pesticide.
Yes. Come on, Mac, we may just have enough time.
For what? And they probably already cremated the body by now.
Look how distorted the hair follicles are. It's definitely thallium.
Thallium who?
A pesticide. A young case in England nearly 25 years ago.
And it wouldn't have shown up in the initial screens for known poisons.
Of course, it's been off the market for years.
In this country, but not everywhere. What time was that memorial service?
Noon.
Come on.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. We shall all one day return from whence we came. Mrs. Deinhardt, time has come for you and your family to offer the ashes of your beloved husband, Charles David Deinhardt, to the kite, which has now been sanctified. Au he oi e hori komako. Kamakua aloha noi komako ko Yesu Christo a me kamanako uhane e momene.
Sorry, I gotta break this up. Honolulu homicide.
What are you two doing here? This is a private ceremony. What are you doing? We believe we're solving 3 homicides. That's ridiculous. Her husband's death was already declared to be of natural causes. It's because we didn't know what we were looking for. A substance which eludes all conventional tests for poison, but can be detected by a screen for heavy metal. It's called thallium. Never heard of it. And in any case, 2 forensics experts have already established that his body was completely free of anything toxic. This case has been closed. I reopened it.
We already called the authorities in St. Paul and Delaware. If you murdered any of your 3 husbands by slow poisoning them with thallium, they'll still be able to prove it.
How? The body was cremated. Well, we do have the ashes, you see. And the one amazing characteristic of thallium is that it can't be destroyed, even with the high temperatures of cremation. It's still detectable. So... Matt, can't help her.
Take you up on your offer.
You know, the offer you made about watching you spend the money?
I thought maybe I could even help.
You're delicious looking, Mac. But I'm not stupid. You didn't come over here to spend time with an old lady, even one with millions.
Anybody in the department could testify to the fact that I have money problems. You know, I can't get that image of you dancing out of my head. And you did not look like an old lady then.
I wasn't an old lady, Mac. When I first came to work for that spoiled, ungrateful old witch.
Well, you can be young again. See, I came this way so that you would feel comfortable that I wasn't wearing a wire. See, I want to have fun with you. And your money. But it's your money. I mean, after all, you did kill for it. And I wouldn't want you turning on me.
I would, Mac, if you betrayed me.
Like Bertha did.
She was going to give every cent to that church. It was a pleasure seeing her squirm.
Well, I'd put up a little bit more of a struggle.
Not with a double dose of Nembatol in your veins, honey. You'd be like putty in my hand.
Just like Bertha.
She went out like a 2-cent candle.
Are you getting all this?
They couldn't have heard a thing. It's your word against a sweet old lady.
That's true. But they might believe a dirty, rotten young man like me. I lied about the bug.
Good work, Mac. We got everything on the wire.
Yeah, well, what took you so long?
Oh, well, we thought you were enjoying it.
Oh, yes. Dr. Holliday, I want to congratulate you. I would say that your first couple of weeks on your new job have turned out real nice.
Thank you, Captain.
See you back at headquarters, lover boy.
Oh, yeah. You bet. Righto.
No, really, Mac, that was so interesting. Watching you, work.
What are you trying to say, Doc?
It was fascinating, that, what would you call that? Your seduction technique, I guess.
Hey, my seduction technique got the job done.
Mm-hmm. On a lonely, love-starved spinster.
Takes one to know one, Doc. Takes one to know.
That's funny, Mac. That's really funny.
Coming up, the show that stars like Brad Pitt stay home to watch. Robert Stack presents Unsolved Mysteries. Next, tonight at 8, assisted suicide. Is it the ultimate act of courage or is it murder? Eva Marie Saint and Richard Kiley star in the real-life drama Time to Say Goodbye, a Lifetime original movie.